Hi, it's me, Rasheed, coach, speaker, and author of Soul Trader, Putting the Heart Back into Your Business. Welcome to this, the latest Soul Trader mini motivational talk. I used to call them webinars. Call it what it is that you like. It's me and you, and here we are connected. This particular talk that I'm going to give today is about business and consciousness. And I'm recording it pretty much on the eve of the 2017 Global Entrepreneurship Week. A week which is all about encouraging enterprise, education, inviting people into business and celebrating business, all those people who want to be their own boss. Maybe you're on that journey thinking about it, or maybe you're in it. Wherever it is that you're in it, I'm really glad that you're here and that you've been kind enough to tune into this talk of mine. I want to ask a few questions. Why are you here? Why are you here on this planet? Who are you? What's really important to you? Why are you doing what you're doing? These are such important questions. These are such fundamental questions. It's important to take that time to pause and sit with them. Why are you here? Why are you here on this planet? Why are you in business? Why are you thinking about it? What's it all about to you? For some people, it's about making money, feeling good about themselves, feeling important. Fine. There's a material side of oneself that we need to keep up and so on. And of course, there's an egoic side of oneself that wants to do this and do that. And that's, in some ways, it's actually honourable. That's how life is. But for the soul trader, it's about something else. It's about genuinely connecting. It's about genuinely doing something that we're passionate about. It's about genuinely doing something of service that doesn't just help us, that helps and enriches the other in some other way. And I think the clearer you are about this, and the more you take time to really tune into this, the richer your business life will be. It's also going to be easier that way. What's the level of consciousness that you want to operate on? I'm just doing this, I'm trying to make this happen. And then it can be, you see, very much me versus the world, trying to make all this kind of stuff. Wishing, hoping, trying to manipulate the world, trying to make the world bend to our will. Sometimes we get the results and sometimes we get deeply frustrated because things aren't happening. We'll try absolutely every marketing technique out there to make this happen, make that happen. You know, wishing the universe will do this, trying this, all this kind of stuff. The soul trader realizes that they are part and parcel of life. Life is part and parcel of them. What's the need to fight? Question is to show up and to sing your song. It's the higher vibration. It's life's invitation to go within, to discover oneself, to be true to oneself. Not all of these subtle and dimensions and superficial to some degree dimensions of oneself, one's creed, one's class, one's colour, one's background and so on. These things are important, they're beautiful aspects of ourselves, but they're not the whole self, because you are unique. Because you might even have a twin, or whatever, or somebody, I was speaking to somebody about this, somebody was talking about this the other day, or somebody else in your own family. Look at your own family and all the siblings, they're all different. And they've had exactly the same upbringing. Consciousness element is really important. As entrepreneurs, we're creating things, and we've got to ask ourselves, what is this that we're creating? What's we're creating in the world? Are we creating a product that people actually genuinely want and that they genuinely need? It's quite an interesting time technologically, in terms of technology, in terms of productivity and efficiency. So many of the developments that we've seen, from labour-saving devices throughout the 20th century through to technology and social media right through to now things like artificial intelligence. All of these things will raise questions about who it is that we are. You know, first of all, from things that might save us time and energy, through to other tools that allow us to connect to people globally, like through this, and to have conversations. Right through to all sorts of new technology that will speed things up. That you've got driverless cars on one hand, you've got the increasing of kind of robotics, things in your fridge and your computer that will tell you and reorder the food automatically and all the rest of it. And so some of these developments will also invite you to consider what's going to be the role of the human being. I'm going to do a separate talk on that. But I think that we as entrepreneurs need to be very mindful about what it is that we're creating. It's not just something that I want to create that enriches myself, my ego, or my bank balance. Is the thing that I'm creating, whether it's a product, whether it's a service, whatever it might well be. It might be an app, it might be an item of clothing, it might be that you're giving some people some advisory support, whatever that thing may be. Is it genuinely something that's enriching? What's my level of consciousness? And what's my level of compassion? How conscious am I even on the everyday level of how I am, how I'm feeling, how I am in the world, how I'm doing? Because otherwise, if I'm not aware of that, I'm going to be hurting. I can think of a number of very talented entrepreneurs, bright, intelligent, who struggled hugely with their health and their well-being because they pushed themselves too hard. There's no compassion to themselves. They're not consciously aware of how they're doing. They're not allowing themselves to take time out. Who is the doer of your deeds? It might seem like such a strange question to do. Who's actually driving the vehicle of you? What's the driving force? We often think that the mind is the driving force. The mind is a wonderful aspect of who we are, but if you think about it, if you think about the mind, and then if you think about the brain, there's so much stuff that kind of is automatically happening that we're not conscious of. The regulation between the heart, the mind, the whole system, and how the body is oxygenated, how the idiosyncrasies of how my hands will be moving, how I'm blinking. My mind isn't consciously thinking about those kind of things. So there's what I'm pointing to here, and I'm not wanting to get into the science. I'm not wanting to get necessarily into the spiritual or any other things. And you can look at it through whichever lens that you like. But there's that stuff which is beyond one's own conscious kind of awareness. On that localized level, this is who I am. I'm making this happen. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. So as we, if you like, if we raise our consciousness, as we become more aware of that, and at the same time we come attuned of, okay, this is where I am, this is how I feel, and so on, then there's another way of being. It's the place of where, you know, it's been said many times, when athletes are in flow, when people are very mindful, when people are really still and the clarity really emerges, when a performer is really, again, in the zone. We see it in so many particular fields that then there's that attuneness, there's that in-tuneness. It's really hard to separate you between you, the moment, the event, what's going on, the performance, the piece of art, the music, whatever it is that you're doing. It's a dance. It's all in flow. I have a saying, if you are quiet enough, life will whisper its secrets to you. And that's what I've found. That's been my discovery. It's a little bit, let me even just look at it from this everyday level. You know, the times when you're trying to do something and you get stressed or you get frustrated and you stop and you give it a break and then you come back, your mind is clearer. When people say go away and sleep on it and so on, and the clarity emerges. This is what we're talking about here. It's about the intelligence beyond my limited mind, the intelligence beyond my ego. This is the space where intuition emerges. This is the space where creativity emerges. It's actually often the space where innovation emerges. So if I can blend that being still, being aware, being attuned, being open, with a compassion for myself and for my clients and the people I'm serving. And then with an awareness of the world that we're living and what the patterns are and what is it that I can actually bring to bear and how is it I can use my skill sets, then magic can happen. I think on that last point, I think what I would say is, especially if you're new to entrepreneurship or any point in entrepreneurship, sometimes we can get really caught up in not appreciating ourselves, not valuing ourselves, not seeing our magic, not knowing our magic, not utilizing our magic. I have a saying, know your magic, trust your magic, use your magic, and know that you are a manifestation of life's magic. And sometimes from this space it means that we're able to be really, really, really present and be in the world and sing and dance and do our thing. In other words, our unique gifts are honed, our talents, we're there in the world, we're there, we're showing up, we're being. And my invitation here in terms of consciousness, in terms of business, is that if we're still enough, we can hear and we can perhaps hear that the answers to those questions. Okay, maybe even this is who I am becomes undefinable, but the bit about what's really passionate to you, that becomes kind of clear. Okay, I'm passionate about this, I'm passionate about that, I'm passionate about helping people, I'm passionate about, I've got this skill around fixing things or listening or around making things or whatever. It then becomes clearer and clearer and clearer. And as our heart becomes warmer and compassionate, we genuinely care about those people that we serve, and we're open to them, we listen to them, so we can find out how it is that we can serve them more. And then our business can flourish, because we're actually creating something that is of value, and that we value, and that others value, and is truly valuable. I think that's pretty much what I want to say about this. But I think the more it is that we are in this space and in this quiet place and peaceful place and so on, the more it is that we can vibrate peacefully, calmly and compassionately. I think there's another opportunity for business to evolve compassionately. So I have a saying that business should be transformational, never transactional, never merely transactional. There's so much more that it can be. And I think in the times in which we live, where so much stuff, when we often sometimes just look at business as being purely competition or being competitive, no, it should be compassionate. It should be caring. It can be cooperative. If you're interested in more of these themes that are touched on in the Soul Trader book, and really the Soul Trader book is really an invitation for you to live life from the heart. And that in the final chapter around change and transformation, I'm pointing toward this evolution. I have this saying, it's not the world that needs to change, it's our consciousness we must raise. It's not the world that needs to change. The world is this beautiful planet. It's our consciousness. Often our consciousness is on such a low level. This, that, blah, 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 noise, 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 noise. Often there isn't that much heart towards ourselves, towards others, and truly being in the world. And I think that's a starting point for the Soul Trader of being in the world, doing the work to produce a good product and to master one's craft, but then just showing up, singing one's song and learning and letting life, letting this dance of life and the intuition and the insight and the compassion take us to a higher level of connectivity, of possibility, of creativity and of innovation. I want to thank you so, so much. I think maybe the last thing I want to say is that, because you might be thinking, well, how can I deepen that? For some of you, it's going to be about relaxation, meditation, quiet contemplation, being, silence, stillness, taking walks outside, just listening within, being available to life's wisdom. That's it. Taking that time, not rushing in, being patient, watching and listening to the rhythms of life, the seasons of life. That's an invitation, just to take that time, just to be and to breathe, to go within. Whenever you're lost, go within. I want to thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you. Take good care. Bye-bye. Wishing you all the best on your journey. Take good care.